What's up, creators? It's Curtis, and I wanted to quickly run you through some of the possibilities of using MyDesigns with Dream AI to generate really popular Tumbler wraps that seem to be absolutely killing it on Etsy. So I'm building this video for our private members area in MyDesigns, and I'm going to show you just a quick workflow of how you can basically replicate what this Aussie Digital art store is doing. You got this other template store here, 97,000 cells. This bridge sublimation has 89,000 cells. The Tumbler Wrap Designs, 84,000 cells. Terra Spark, 77,000 cells, and they're almost entirely selling Tumbler wraps, just digital downloads. And then, of course, Aussie Digital here. This is the one that inspired me to build this video. This store is only 2 months old. They're almost at 15,000 cells. That means at their current price, they're making about $11,000 to $12,000 profit per month, which is impressive for only having 799 of these Tumbler wraps up, which with MyDesigns, you're very capable of doing that in a week. So I'm going to show you kind of what you can do. I'm just going to jump right into it. So I'm on the MyDesigns page, the dashboard page here. I'm in the demo account. So over on the listings page, I already have my collection selected, and I have a template built, and I have data pre-filled. So it basically just maps my keyword field. Got my description here, and I'll share this. I'll share the description, the title, and the tags I'm using because I'm trying to make the video quick, so I don't want to spend too much time on the data. But I'll share this with you as well in the post. And then the tags here, they're all kind of, you can see I'm going more for that 3D Tumbler wrap, 3D Tumbler pattern, 3D Tumbler design. And then, of course, my general keyword is going to be in here, and I have it down here as well. But the good thing about having this at the template level, I got my pricing and quantity here as well, is that when I add designs to this listing, rather they're coming from Midjourney or from Dream AI, it'll automatically add that data to it. So I really just need to put in a keyword and basically my listing's ready. And of course, generate mockups and publish them. But with that being said, I'm going to go over to Dream AI because I'm going to use this for this video. Midjourney is also fantastic. It generates really high quality images. But I went ahead and already generated some images here. So I'm going to go through and literally just save the ones that look good to me. So let's grab, and again, the prompt I used here, I'm using digital art for almost all of these. I changed it up for a few of them. So I'll scroll through these. In fact, I'll start down here on some of these other listings. We will start right here. So let me scroll back to the top. So 3D white and pink flowers pattern, highly detailed. You can see this is just flowers, so I'm going to grab a couple of these. I'll just grab these three. Now I'm going to save it to my collection, this Tumblers 2 collection. I don't need to upscale because I'm actually going to vectorize these images. That way I can upscale them to whatever dimensions I want to create the perfect Tumbler wrap. And then I can create mockups, create the tapered wrap and all that. And I'll show you that. It's really cool because we built the templates inside MyDesigns. All right. So I'm going to leave it right to the default image slot. So let's create those three listings. And I will just keep going up from here. These are lilies. Some of them look pretty good. I'm just going to skip this one for now. Let's see if any of these are better. Not too bad, but we'll go up here where I think I started. Yeah, some of these prompts got good. So this is a roses one. I'll grab a few of these that I think will look good on wraps. So those will work. I'll create those three listings and keep going. This one turned out really well. I can't remember what prompt I used, but I'll go look at it for you. I'll save. Let's put this one in there too. That prompt was 3D black roses flower pattern. So very simple. And again, I'm using the digital art style. I'm using the 5:4 aspect ratio because that'll get us closest to the Tumbler wraps, but then we'll use the canvas system to top it off. So let's go back down. Don't want to save any of those. This was a fantasy art. I was just trying that out. This was a comic book style. I think this was also comic book style. I'm going to skip those. I like some of these sunflower designs, so I'm going to save at least these two. Yeah, I'll just save those two. Save a few of these maybe. No, we'll skip these. Again, sunflowers. I like this one here. I kind of like this just because it'll be a little bit different in this as well. Let's save those. Keep going. And this one was 3D roses flower pattern stained glass, which actually turned out really well. So I'm going to save these three, this one as well. We'll save those four. And I'll just quickly, with Dream AI, you can do this in parallel. It's really fast, way faster than Midjourney. Now, Midjourney does produce higher quality images, which is nice. But with Dream AI, it's impressive how fast you can just get results quickly with prompts. And I recommend you try all kinds of prompts because you could find something really cool And then once you find that prompt, it's scalable. For instance, if I'm doing flowers and patterns, I could change out the flower types, etc. But you get the idea. Again, this is a black roses flower pattern with that stained glass. And that turned out quite cool too, some of these. Maybe we'll go with these two. I'll do this one as well. And then the last one, again, stained glass, 3D red roses flower pattern, stained glass. So let's grab just a few of those. I think that'll do. I think there's quite a few of these. So now if I move over to the listings page, again, I didn't need to upscale those because we're going to vectorize these. So once this loads, yep, we got 25 of these patterns in here. And you can see all the data is here. Now, of course, I need the keywords in the keyword field. That way it populates the rest of the data, but I'll get into that in a minute here. I'm going to change the view real quick so we can just preview these. Yeah, these look good. There's one more here on this extra page. That'll do. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change this back to this view. I'm going to go and rename the actual files because that way when I generate mockups and generate the tapered file, etc., it has better naming. So I'll just go through and you can click this little name here. And a lot of these are going to be the same. So I will pause the video and resume recording when I'm done renaming these. Okay, so I went through and renamed all those files. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create the tapered version of these files. Actually, I'm going to create the first Tumbler files, which needs to be at 2790 by 2460 pixels. So I'm going to select all 25, go to the canvas system, and actually I need to vectorize these first. So first things first, actions, vectorize image, and we'll put it into that vector image file slot and just let that run. All right, so the vectorized image job is done. So if I double click on this and I compare the two, you can see it's slightly different, but in a lot of cases when you vectorize, it has more of the illustration / digital art look, but it's also scalable to infinite dimensions essentially without losing quality. So that's really, really cool. You see the difference here. It's slightly different, but that's the image we want to use in this case. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to Canvas System and change the input file slot to that vector graphic. That's the one I want to be working with. I'm going to turn this keep aspect ratio off. And again, for these tumbler wraps, the 20-ounce tumbler wraps, it's 2790 by 2460 pixels. So this is obviously too big, so I'm going to scale it down. Now these aren't seamless patterns. If they are seamless patterns you're generating in Midjourney, then you're not going to do this particular step because you'll just prepare these ahead of time. But these aren't seamless, so it's going to work just fine to do something like this. And just kind of fit that in there, and then of course hit that sync button. That way it applies this to all these listings. And now I can basically create the straight Tumbler wrap file. So I'm going to hit apply, and that usually doesn't take too long, so all 25 of those are processing. And we'll wait for that. All right, and just like that, it's already done. So if I double click on this, again, check the dimensions, 2790 by 2460 pixels, 300 ppi, it's perfect, it's ready to go. So now the fun part begins. I'm going to go to the mockup generator, go to image mockups, go to the drinkware category, and in here I've favorited these so they're at the top. But if you're first time viewing drinkware and you're looking for these particular mockups, you probably have to scroll to the bottom. I do recommend you click that little star so you can move them to the top so you don't have to keep doing that. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this default image, actually the straight image, because that's the one we're using now. Once you create the actual Tumbler image, that's the one you want to use for all the mockups. So I'm going to take the straight image and I'm actually going to create the tapered file. It seems a little bit funny that it's in the mockup generator, but it's still a PSD file, so it's in the mockup system. But again, we're actually going to change this to PNG. And we're going to use this to create that tapered file. Changing the file type to PNG is absolutely required. That way you get the perfect dimensions. And of course, on the sides here, it will be transparent. So again, I'm going to choose that tapered output slot and just hit create mockups. And that won't take too long, and then we'll continue on. All right, so that's already done. So if I come over to this tapered file slot and double click it, it'll make it active across the entire collection. You can see we now have the tapered file and we have the straight file. These are the two files that you are going to be selling to your customers on Etsy. This is what they'll receive when they purchase your product. So now that that is done, let's jump right into the mockups. So I'm going to go back to the mockup generator, image mockups, drinkware, and I'm going to look for the 20-ounce straight tumbler. This one is one of them. So I'll take that. You can ignore the color because this is going to wrap around the entire thing. Again, you need to change this to the straight file slot or whatever file slot contains the actual tumbler with the proper dimensions. So I'm going to generate that. And while that's going, let's generate a few more of these. I want to get one of these ones, this one here. Again, change this from straight, go to mockup 2, create mockups. And while that's going, I'm just going to finish these up. I'm going to grab the other mockups as well. So we got this tapered and straight look. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you look at Aussie Digital, let me open up one of these tumblers. They kind of present nicely what you're buying from them. So this is the tapered version wrap file, and this is the straight wrap file. So we want to be able to do that too. So I'm going to change this to mockup 3. Again, change this to straight, and then let's generate the straight version and do it one more time and get that tapered version. That way we can display it to our customers nicely, which is going to be here. Again, change that to straight and generate. And that shouldn't take too long. They should all be complete. And then I will show you all these mockups. All right, and those are done. So first, I'm going to go to mockup 1 here and double click this. Just like that, you got a really high quality mockup for all of these listings. Built very quickly. All the images were generated in 𝐿_AI. So whether you're a graphic designer or not, you can actually create high quality tumbler wraps that sell extremely well on Etsy, and you can do it very quickly in MyDesigns. So you have a huge advantage over anyone else doing this. So now with that being said, let's check out the rest of these mockups. Mockup 2, this one's really beautiful as well. Those look great. And then I'm going to do one more. We'll actually check out these two as well, or these other two. So the straight version, again, this is going to be one of your mockups on your product listing. And then also the tapered version of this. So that shows you shows your customers what they're receiving. And that's it. So really the only thing I need to do, now that I named these keywords or these images properly, my base default image here, you can see I went through and renamed these. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the keyword field. So I'm going to double click that, go to Actions, Edit in Bulk, Primary Keyword, add to front, add a variable, and change that to app to grab the file name. So you can get a preview here. Just hit apply. Once that keyword's in that slot, of course I could always manually put that in there. But in this case, I want the images in the files to be named properly too. You can see that everything has populated. Now again, for each listing, I could go through and optimize it more specifically for the keywords and the searches that you have happening on Etsy. But I wanted to make this quicker. So I'm just going to make sure all of these listings, so this one has a length issue. I'm going to remove that, just go colorful rows. Whoops, I did not spell that right. Again here, colorful rows. Get rid of this one, I'll just continue on. And let's see if there are any other issues here. I'm going to hit Control-S to save. Yeah, that one has an issue, Control-S. And go back. So now we're ready to publish all 25 of these. So I'm going to go to Publish, Digital, and then it's important here is to select files to sell because you're not converting these, they're already created. So select files to sell, and then we need that straight. I'm going to deselect the default image. We need the straight file and the tapered file. Those are the two we're selling. So go next, and I'll just leave the default categories here. This is our demo shop on Etsy. So now I need to select my mockups. And I'm going to actually make this one the primary. And if you wanted, you can add a watermark here. It'll just add your text as a very subtle watermark over every mockup. I'm going to leave that blank, but you can do that very easily. Go next step. Again, I had my pricing and quantity already input into that data set. So my titles, descriptions, tags look good. I'm going to go next. You could preview everything again on this last page if you like, but everything looks good, so I'm going to hit publish. And that doesn't take too long. It looks like I have an issue here. So I'll go fix that. Has duplicate tags, colorful rows. All right. Let's search that here. I believe it requires this. There we go. It's because the other one's coming from my keywords. I'm just going to delete that. That means the other colorful rose ones are too, most likely. I'm going to fix that. I think that should be it. All right, and I'm going to go back through and publish, and then I'll show you that part when it's done. Okay, I'm at the last step in the publishing process. So I'm going to click publish, and now all 25 of these are queued up. And that won't take long at all to publish, so I'll let that finish. Then we'll move over to the Etsy shop to show you these listings. All right, so those just finished up. So if I go over to this demo Etsy shop, these are some other ones I was testing earlier. So I'm going to refresh this page and then go over to the drafts folder. See all 25 of them are here. Just like that. In some cases, you'll get like one of the other mockups. So if you wanted to edit it and use the same one, you could do that. And move that up. But everything is here. It looks really good. Again, if you click into one of these, you got all the mockups. And you got the title, the description, the tags, and you got your description here, but you also have the pricing, quantity, but then you got the download file, which is what your customer receives. It has a download link inside of it that takes them to a blank, basically a thank you page on MyDesigns with no branding on that actual download page. So that'll give them the zip file that contains their tapered and straight file for these tumbler wraps. And that's it. So I'm going to go back, select all these, go publish. See how quickly we generated 25 tumbler wraps within MyDesigns using 𝐸𝐻𝐵. And again, you could repeat this process over and over. You could upload mid-journey images. You do whatever you need to do, but that's how fast you can publish these tumblers and create them through MyDesigns. Now I wanted to show you these. We'll pull up one of these listings so you get a better preview. But yeah, there's no difference here from what we just did and basically what Aussie Digital is doing here. Again, they're getting about 400 to 600 sales a day. Since I started this video, they've received 10 sales almost. So it's pretty impressive. It's a big niche and I don't expect it to slow down. So good luck, and I hope this video is helpful. If it is, let me know by leaving a comment below. I'm going to be creating a lot more content over the coming weeks and months. But that's it for this video. I'll see you soon.